we gather in the cosmos bright. Stars and ships take flight tonight. In the void where dreams do play, soul citizens lead the way. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed. Squadrons call on the horizon. Battles fought, our hearts aren't frightened. In our ships we face the dawn. Soul citizens carry on. Oh, planets spin and light years fly. Boundless space where hopes reside. Motherhood in every star. Soul citizens, here we are. Borders fade in nebula's light. Unknown worlds will chart tonight. Through the galaxy we soar. Endless journeys at our core. Starry roads in endless skies. Soul citizens we rise. Charting courses never lost. Together the verses crossed.
Alone, we are worlds apart. But together, we are an empire formed by purpose. To live, to thrive, to fight. Our enemies adapt in the chaos. Threats are shifting and ever-changing. And new challenges emerge to try us and tear us apart. Unpredictable are our battles. Unrelenting is our fight. But no matter the forces against us, we will prevail. We rise as one, and together we hold our ground. With everything that we have, now is the time to unite in purpose.
Hey, greetings. Welcome back to the Soul Citizens. I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and today is Sunday, May the 25th, and we are back with another great week of conversation with the Soul team, and also our very, very special guest is joining us today that we've been excited to have on board with us, fairly new to the community, and so we want to welcome her to the community of the Soul Citizens as well as the Star Citizen community, SinfulStrife. Sin, as you want to be called. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good. Are you happy to be here?
I'm nervous, but yes, I'm very happy.
I'm very happy to be here.
We're gonna be fine. You see, people are already saying howdy to you in chat, so you're in good shape. Nothing to worry about. We're also joined today with our co-producer and co-host, fastcart FC. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm nervous. I hope they kill me. Don't.
Hey, oh God, he's never nervous. Don't worry about him. He's fine.
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my God. God help us all. Anyway, we hope you guys have had a great week.
I'm very happy to be
into
here.
Invictus. Scott, is a Skatey B. Thank you for that follow. Mizzle80, thank you for that follow as well. Thank you all for being here with us. And New Soul Sounds, thank you for that sub. We appreciate you helping us out there. Thank you so much for that. Again, we have a
I
special
am
guest
very
today.
happy to be here.
Sin is here with us, and is it Calypsia 6978? Thank you also for that follow. Let's talk a little bit about her because she's fairly new to the community. Sin, why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself? How did you get into Star Citizen?
So I believe I was like randomly on Facebook and I seen like an ad for it or something, and I was like, "Oh, I like space. This is really cool."
Okay.
I've like, and then I remember like the comments, like people talking about it. So I was like, "Well, let me go ahead and check it out." And now I'm here.
Okay. Had you heard anything about Star Citizen before that, or was that like your very
No,
first time hearing something?
nothing at all. Nothing at all. I heard
Wow.
nothing. I just went in and I was like, "Okay, let me buy it."
Okay. Now, have you been a PC player, console player, mixture of both?
So like early days, it was mainly console, and then I want to say back in 2017, I built my first PC, and I've
Oh,
just been building PCs ever since.
cool. Awesome. And you are now not only playing on PC, you are streaming, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
tell people a little bit about your stream and where they can find you.
So I started streaming actually on this account May 1st. So I haven't been streaming very long. I think I'm like 16, 17 streams in.
Okay.
And yeah.
Awesome. All right. Fastcart's put the link in. Y'all know what to do. You all get over there and support Sinful. Like and follow her and check out. She also has a YouTube page. So make sure you check that out as well. And we're very happy to have you here with us. So we're very chill. So relax. We told you that like 8 times. Don't worry. It's going to be fun. It's going to
I
be
can't
good.
relax.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. So here's the cool thing about having her on with us today. As you guys know, whenever we've had an opportunity to have new people on, such as when we had Yo-Yo Meg, who was new to the game, we like to bring new faces, people who have new experiences with Star Citizen on board because their perspective is quite often different than a lot of us old dinosaurs that have been around forever. And so we're always happy to hear their view of something like Invictus, which is definitely, when you heard about this game convention, you know, because you came in a few weeks before, did you kind of know what it was going to be, or were you kind of like convention in a game? What is that all about? Were you kind of up on
I
it?
had no idea. Actually, I didn't even know until the week of, until it like came out, and I was like, "What is that?" And someone was like, "Yeah, it's this," and I was like, "Okay," but I was still pretty confused until I actually went to it myself.
Okay. What'd you think? Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Steve.
I think I first mentioned it to her on her stream like 2 or 3 weeks before it even came before the first day, and they were like, look out for Invictus. He was like, Invictus, what's that? So yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And what was your impression when you got off the tram and you found your way over there? What was your impression of it?
Honestly, I thought it was pretty cool, the fact that like they set it up to make it look like an actual convention, and then the fact that you could like actually go inside of the ships, and then just to see also like the other people touring the ships as well. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, I've never seen something like that inside of like a game
Mhm.
for real. So like that was really cool to witness.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, you caught it in a different year because I'm sure some people have told you that it's a little different this year. Because in previous years, whenever the manufacturer days would come up, those are the ships that would be on the floor. And every 2 days, they would change it, right? So you'd
Okay.
see all of the Anvil ships, you'd see all of the Drake ships, right? But this year, they just did that main floor when you come in. And we're going to talk about that a little bit about it. So I want to ask Fastcart too. Fastcart, when you first saw the changes that they did this year at the convention, were you kind of like, this is good? Were you kind of like, it's different, or I liked it the old way? What was your thoughts?
When I first logged in on the first day, and I saw all the different manufacturers, I'm like, that's interesting. I wonder why they did it this way. And I went, I do my usual thing. I went through each section, tried to look at the ships, and I went into a couple of them. I went to the Phoenix. That's all. I always went to Phoenix. And then we went to the Idris tour. We'll talk about that later. But then I just logged out and then I said, oh, okay, I'll come back 2 days later for the next manufacturer day. I did that, came back 2 days. I'm like, wait, the same thing, because I hadn't heard about the change.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to be the way it always has been, where you do 2 days of a manufacturer and then you rotate to a different manufacturer, or even if they sometimes they still keep up that manufacturer even for 4 days, but
Mhm.
they just move it to a different floor for
Yeah.
the other manufacturer. So I was expecting that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, they didn't say anything. What's going on? And it's like, oh, they're not doing it this year. Because I remember last IAE, they had that issue where it wouldn't rotate.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing that makes it easier for the back end
Yeah.
or the developers to keep everything the same.
Yeah. A lot less
And
work.
so
Yeah.
that makes sense. But
Mhm.
I do miss it. How I do miss seeing all the ships from every manufacturer.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. I think it was a good move in light of how exponentially the amount of ships have grown over the years. You know, and like you said, fastcart in the early years, it wasn't as many ships, but there's so many of them now, and they do have to lay out all of that work ahead of time, make sure everything works, and I'm sure it is labor intensive. So I think the streamlining of it was done well. Putting up the rental kiosks right there when you come in is easy. People can get to the ships very easily. It's different. It's definitely different. We'll see if it sticks, you know, whether the community continues to enjoy it. I think in general, I haven't heard too many people say, I like it the way it was before. I think most people are kind of adapting to it, you know, especially the fact that as soon as you come in, the new ships are right there, right? Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask something else. Oh, no, I wasn't going to ask something else. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's talk about what we had come up. Sin, if there's anything that you're not up on, feel free to say, hey, I'm not up on that, because it's cool. All right. Because there's so much that happens in this community. It's sometimes hard to keep up with everything. So one of the first things we're going to do, I'm going to open up with something that took place. This was on a week before. CIG was in Asia. They were doing the Bar Citizen. And while they were there, they did a presentation with John Crew. And John Crew was over the ships. He's the guy who's overseeing all the shipbuilding and stuff nowadays. And evidently, I don't know completely why there was controversy, but there was controversy about this. And I'm not sure, Sin, did you hear anything about, first of all, did you see any of that broadcast at all? It was on the the Star Citizen Live last week.
No, so like I try to watch stuff, but then I'm like confused the entire time.
Yeah,
'cause I
completely
don't know what
understandable.
anything
Don't
is.
worry. Don't worry. Completely understandable. Fastcart, did you watch this SCL at all with John Crew?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. So with Sin, they have two different things that happen, right? There's two shows that CIG has been traditionally doing. One called ISC, Inside Star Citizen, which is kind of like a 15-minute brief summary of what's coming up. And it's mostly visual, right? To see what's coming up in the game. But then they'll do this thing called SCL, Star Citizen Live, where they bring the developers in and they kind of talk in depth about what's happening in the game. And sometimes it's just two people talking. So it's not as exciting. Some people like it because it gives a lot of good, deep information. Other people like saying, hey, where's the fluff? What's the latest coming? I only got 15 minutes. I'm cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So this particular show was shown at the Bar Citizen in Asia a week before Invictus. Now, it had gotten bootlegged, and people who were there in Asia showed it. You know, they put it on YouTube, and people saw it. They didn't know that CIG was going to put this video out this year. They put it out officially, too. Now, Fastcart, did you hear that there were some people who felt a certain kind of way about the fact that this was shown in Asia before it got to the general community? Because I heard that yesterday on
Honestly,
Paul's show.
I didn't know about that until I watched Captain Table with you and AC Vertigo yesterday. I didn't know anything about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised by that. I didn't think it was a big deal. You know, I didn't think it was a big deal. But it was interesting, and maybe some of you all who are watching, you guys maybe felt a certain way, or you heard some of that too. I didn't know that it was a thing, but evidently there were some rumblings in some folks in the community about, well, how come they got to show that stuff at the Bar Citizen? And the reason why is that it wasn't televised, Sin. It was, like I said, it was bootlegged, and that's how people saw it. But then a week later, CIG did put it up, right? So it's like we still got the same information they did a week earlier. But what they did, John Crew talked about a little bit of the things that are happening now with Invictus and some things that are going to be happening in the future. So I was just wondering whether you guys heard any of the rumblings about it. I was glad that they did this. It was nice to hear John talk about the ships and things that they want to do that led up to Invictus and their future plans. So I would recommend, Sin, if you get a chance and just get some time, put it on in the background, just listen to it. We absorb what we absorb. You know what I mean? There's a lot to absorb. Yeah, there's a lot to absorb with this game, so don't feel bad because we don't know everything, and we've been here freaking 13 years, so don't feel bad. Drakazans, thank you as always for that sub to Sinful. Thank you for that, and yeah, thank you for that. It was always good to see you here. Pops in Space, thank you also for the community sub. We appreciate that. Okay, enough of that then. Let's get into the meat and bones of this thing. We're going to be going through this year, instead of, as you guys know, there's just too many ships. And so we're going to be highlighting all the new stuff that happened this year. And there was plenty of new stuff that we can talk about this year. So we're going to be first hitting all the vehicles. And then after that, we're going to get into the mod section and talk about that. And then we're going to be doing some giveaways today, too, from Invictus. So stick around for that. If you're interested in some of the things that were being put out there, we're going to do that as well today. But let's first watch the, I think, what do they call these things? The inside? I forget what they call them. Behind the ships. We're going to watch each one of the behind the ships. They're fairly short. And then we're going to come back and talk about them. So let's do the very first one, which is going to be on the new Grey Cat MTC.
MTC is a military ground vehicle.
And it edges on the side of high-tech, but it's still that industrial vibe.
It's like a clenched fist, compact, solid, and battle-ready.
It's massive wide body, big tires, and huge bars at the front. Just means that if this thing is driving towards you, you want to get out the way.
It allows you to bring more weapons to help people on the battlefield. You can never have too much firepower, and the MTC allows for that.
It's designed for easy maintenance, yet when you look at it, it looks really put together and refined. One thing that was really important to us is making sure that you guys had access to things without entering the vehicle, so you can do a quick drive-by, pick up and go. So we put some personal storage on the outside, and we have a big cargo rack on the back. And the side door is a new design based on this kind of chassis of vehicle where it has a really low form factor. You'll see when it opens, the door slides along the rail, and that means that when it's fully deployed, it actually sits further back than the tire, allowing you to fit it in more ships.
The MTC has two size 2 guns on the top. It can be controlled by the pilot, or secondary, it can be controlled by the remote turret seat in the rear. This allows that second player can come in controlling the turret, and then when needs to enter the battlefield, the pilot can then resume control of the turret for backup.
In first look, you see very simple design, but telling a story. It has 3 weapon rack. One of them is between 2 suit lockers for a heavy weapon, others for regular weapons. There is 4 component bay and 2 suit locker.
In the design of the cockpit, I tried to make a balance between something cool and fancy and something strong and aggressive. I think we did it.
The MTC matches similar speeds of, say, the Ursa. But its improved handling characteristics is going to allow it to traverse, say, Daymar a lot better than the rest of the field. It's slightly shorter than the Ursa, and it's also a lot more tanky with it being a military-style vehicle. On the inside, you can carry a lot more weapons. It doesn't carry as many people as the Ursa, but like always, trade-offs.
This vehicle's for people who want to be the hero. Everything's going wrong, they're on a ground mission, and your ground troops need support. Over the horizon, they see this thing just come flying in, huge headlights lighting up the entire field of battle, and you're running towards it, and your enemies are running away from it.
All right. Sin, this is your first time here. I'm going to put it on you. Would you read that little description there under the Grey Cat MTC? Read the fluff for everybody. Do you got that on your spreadsheet right there? She's like, where is it?
Yeah. No, I have it.
Could you read that for everybody, please?
Yeah. Putting function over form. As always, Grey Cat presents the MCC, your stalwart ally in planet-side operations. With the goal of creating the most dependable four-wheeled soldier in your troop, Grey Cat has designed the MCC with comprehensive suit and gun storage, defensive weaponry, and its customary off-road ability.
All
I swear I'm gonna
right.
read.
So we just saw the little behind the scenes thing of how this thing is and what it's supposed to do. And of course, as always, these videos reflect what's supposed to happen. It doesn't mean that's what's happening now in the game. So take it for what it's worth. It's marketing to get us to open our wallets. But Sin, did you get a chance to rent this or to take a look at it during Invictus?
I did not get a chance to rent it, no.
Okay. Have you done any of the vehicles yet so far? Or you just been doing ships so far?
I have done some of the vehicles, yes.
Okay.
Don't ask me which ones. I think I've rode in an Ursa. There's another one, something about a Pisces or something.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you got a couple in. Captain
Yeah.
Jones, thank you so much for the 5 community subs. Thank you. We hit a sub goal. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, no worries. What do you think from what you saw in the promo, though? Is it interesting or you're not interested? That's the question I gotta ask you.
I think it's pretty interesting. I personally own one ground vehicle, and I think it's really cool. I love
Mhm.
being able to drive on ground. So I think it's really cool. I love to blow stuff up too. So a vehicle that can drive on ground and blow stuff up, sign me up.
Okay, fair enough. FC, how about you? Did you get a chance to take a look at the MTC?
I didn't get a chance to look at it in game.
Wait a minute. She has an excuse. You have to do the shows. What do you mean you didn't get a chance to look at the thing? You're supposed to go look at it.
No. The thing that okay, so I did watch it behind the ship,
Okay.
and like you said, it's marketing. But they almost got me. Like, wait, you can go in water now, and you can survive in water,
that
and
was
come out
pretty
of
cool.
water.
Yeah, I
And
have
I
to
was
wonder.
like, wait, so I came in Discord the first day, and after the behind the scenes came out, it's like, wait, we can go in water now, and go out and be like, no, you guys can go in water. I'm like, oh man.
I wondered too. Because I noticed it didn't like come out of the water completely. It was just like kind of half going through it. I'm like, I got to see if that's real.
I'm like, that was like some new gameplay. They can do that with all the views? No, just this one.
remember something that Brian Chambers told us. He said that for the most part, if they show us something in the game, even if we can't do it, it is something that they want us to be able to do. And we do know that rivers and streams and things like that are going to be coming in. So I think that maybe in the future we may get that level. I'm not saying got to be underwater, but I think going through water won't be an issue. But yeah, I thought the same thing. The first shot they showed, I'm like, whoa. Like, okay, maybe we'll see. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And also, my excuse is I have the RSI link, so I don't need another vehicle. I got the best vehicle there is. So,
boy.
That's my excuse.
Okay. I wasn't sure when we first heard about this before the Invictus. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. There's vehicles, and nothing against any of the vehicles, but there's a little bit of redundancy for me with some of them. And so my question was, what makes this vehicle different than any others? And when I read the piece about it being about security, and when I saw some of the promo, the one thing I liked about it, there's nothing against the Ursa. Several of our older vehicles need a little bit of updating, but the Ursa is still a very practical vehicle. The Tumbrils are very practical vehicles. But this one for me, what I did like about it was the fact that instead of it being a 4-person vehicle or a 3-person or 6-person, it was a 2-person vehicle. And I like the fact that from what they say about it, now mind you, what they say and what it'll be might be 2 different things, but what they say is that it has the area for environmental suits to be in the back. And now that we're getting things like radiation coming in and that temperature is a factor, eventually, Sin, in case you don't know it, eventually there's going to be an aspect of you actually having to do things for real in the game. Like, for example, you won't be able to wear heavy armor and sit in a pilot seat. Okay, or have your backpack on. You will have to take that stuff off. That's why you have the lockers and all these areas on the ships. Yeah, I know. There you go. Here it comes. Okay, so just to give you fair warning, that's why the weapons racks are in there, right? They want you to sling your weapons. So you have all your stuff on your ships that you live off of your ship. Right now, most people live off of a landing zone or a space station, but they want you to have your food, drink, everything on these vehicles and ships, so that all you got to do is get in them. You know how you spend so much time trying to get ready to go somewhere because you got the idea is that all that stuff's already there. You log into the game, you wake up in your ship, and you go. Where are we going, right? So ultimately, this vehicle gave some room for some of those big environmental suits and things that I thought was kind of cool, which other vehicles right now don't offer. They may offer storage, but eventually that storage might get reduced because some of those big environmental suits take up a lot of space. So I thought it was interesting that this is one of those first vehicles that kind of gives you a little bit of flexibility in that area. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next one. The next one is going to be this is one that fastcart was actually curious about for a little bit, and that's going to be the Mirai Guardian. Let's take a look at that one, and then we'll talk about it.
The Guardian MX is the big brother of the Guardian. It is fully geared up to fight and is now equipped with 4 size 4 weapons instead of the 2 size 5 on the base Guardian.
Mirai's manufacturers always try to push performance. In this case, this version of the Guardian is much more aligned with that key core role of a heavy fighter.
It's got like bigger wings, it's got missiles, it's got more power, no more armor. It's just like meaner looking.
It's for people who just wants to kill, pretty much.
Once you see the MX, you'll notice that the guns are now tucked in the wings. It sits while landed more angular. The wings are much more bigger than the base Guardian. The material breakup is also different. The paneling is like bigger, it's more industrial looking because it's more heavily armored. So there's 24 new missiles, 12 on each wings. And just the experience of launching those missiles at an angle, pretty cool. So the cockpit view is one of the things we've worked the most on the MX.
The look of the dashboard is also completely different and looks sleeker to tie it better with the new HUD design. The UX team did a phenomenal job. We recognized that like the dashboard being at the top of the canopy was blocking that valuable space that the player need and want while dogfighting. So we decided to move the dashboard down to each side of the seat, freeing up the top. It gives that feeling of like operating this massive gun turret with all 4 guns sitting at the tip of the wings.
So the MX has a new blast shield which looks like really cool. It got camera and screens on the inside so the player can see the outside even when it's closed.
It's going to give you a little bit more protectability to make you feel a little bit nicer when you're in that exposed glass cockpit. Compared to the base Guardian, which has more luxuries, has more creature comforts, this one kind of forgoes that.
We completely removed the habitat to make room for a bunch more components. So it now includes 1 size 2 power plant instead of the 2 size 1, and 1 additional size 2 shield generator.
Like the other Mirai ships, how it feels when you pilot it is really quite unique. I'm not that concerned about having a bed and having all the creature comforts and all those things on my ship, especially a ship like this. So the fact that we sacrificed those elements to then reinforce the core capabilities of the vehicle, that's what I find the most exciting with it.
So even though it is a variant of the Guardian, so much has changed on it that it feels like a completely new ship.
I think people will love it. I think it's gonna compete with the best heavy armor there is.
Paired with the speed and agility, the ship feels like a menace. If the MX is telling you, then you're probably already dead.
Alrighty. FC, I'm gonna hit this one for you. Would you read the piece for this one?
Okay, so the MX, Mirai Guardian MX, elegant execution in every sense. stripped of everything that doesn't serve its lethal agenda, the Guardian MX is dedicated to getting the job done with devastating precision, keeping the cutting-edge design of its predecessor. The MX refined destruction to a powerful art. Enhanced weaponry and shields mean Mirai once again has put you ahead of every other single pilot flying.
Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, you were curious about this one, weren't you? Did I remember correctly?
I was this close to just to actually to updating my Super Hornet. But I did get the CCU. And I just, first of all, we got to comment on the opening of this video, the Andor scene, the scene from Andor, episode 1 of season 2. I love that. Because it does have that TIE fighter, TIE defender, TIE Avenger feel to it. And that's one thing that draws me personally to it. That's one of my favorite scripts in the Star Wars universe, the TIE defender. I like how they lowered the dashboard compared to the other Guardians. I appreciate that. Some people are okay with it, but I really like that because it does enhance the view, in my opinion. But I haven't applied the CCU yet. I'm waiting for the CIG to release the build. Because out of all my ships, everyone except for one has LTI or 10 years insurance. I have one package that it can't be melted. It's a physical package that has 6 months insurance. So I'm waiting for a CCU to get that 10 years. So I do have the Guardian MX that had a 10-year insurance on it, but I'm waiting to see because if the build is in between the price of the Heart Seeker and the MX, I'll probably just get the build. So I'm gonna keep the CCU in hand and just wait for what the CID comes out with.
I know I can always count on you to get to the economics of it. Now I'm going to ask you about the ship. Did you take the ship out?
Yeah, the ship. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because I mean it has a lot of guns. Because I'm definitely a spray and pray type of player. So the more guns the ship had, the better for me. Then I do have the F8C Lightning. So that has more weapons, more weapon, but fewer missiles. The Guardian had more. The Guardian MX had more missiles. So I'm still leaning toward the FAC Lightning.
All right. Well, since you're into economics, don't forget those missiles are not going to be cheap. So keep that in mind if you're going to do that. Right.
That's the other thing. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put some of those missiles on layaway. So we'll see how that works out.
All right, Sin, how about you? Did you get a chance to look at this particular ship, the Mirai Guardian MX?
I looked at the video for it because I believe someone sent it to me, and I really like the look of it. I haven't seen it actually, but I really like the look of it. I know someone just made a comment about the round ball looking thing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
I think that part looks really cool.
Right. Well, you got to go to the convention center and rent it. It's over there. Go rent it because I think it stays in your hangar for a couple days or whatever. But go rent it.
I've rented a few ships.
Okay.
But I haven't rented everything.
Okay. Well, rent at least these new ones. Give them a shot. You know what I mean? Rent this one, get it in your hangar for a couple days, and take it out. It's a different type of flying ship. There's a series. The company Mirai is a fairly new. Those of you all know this. The Mirai is one of the newer ship manufacturers in the game, and they started out with the Fury series. And it seems like FC that they're kind of expanding in that same way they did with the Fury. Then they had the Fury MX. I think it was the MX. I forget the missile boat version. And then they had the Racer. Yeah. Where here they kind of
the Racer came first.
Yeah, and so now this time was the Racer first? Was it?
Yeah, the Razor came out a long time ago. Remember, the Razor was part of the mix line.
No, not Razor, not Razor. The Racer. The racing version of the Fury, the racing version. Yeah. Yes, I'm saying, and then now they've expanded it with the Guardians. Now that they've expanded on that series of ships that they have now, so I know Serious Fun really likes the Guardian QI. That's his favorite. Some people like the fighter, the standard one. I don't know if
he upgraded. I'm not sure.
Did he upgrade to the MX? I'm not sure if he did either.
Oh, he did.
Okay. there are some people who aren't too happy with they liked aspects of this, but then the fact that there was a compromise where they took the living quarters, there was a bed and everything in here before Sin, so that people could actually log out on this ship, but they removed all that and brought in more components and did some things. But I think Lefty said it in here a second ago, every ship has its compromise, and so they don't create the Frankenstein ship that has everything. It's just a part of what CIG has done. So I would say don't get upset about it. It's just they do it to make you choose and make you think about your choices. So but I think it's an interesting ship. I don't own any of the MX, the Guardians. I love them. It's just that I've got other ships and I'd be just double stacking. So I have to fight that thing of taking my wallet out when I see something that's got cool factor to it and just say, hey, you've already got a heavy fighter. You don't need it unless you're going to get rid of the other fighter. And I try not to do that even because sometimes that's a little premature, because it's very easy to get caught up in looking at what's the latest cool, you know.
People always forget whenever a new ship comes out, it's going to get nerfed. It's going to get balanced. So don't get too attached to it the way it is now. Get it because you like the look of it, like the feel of it, you like where it flies, or what have you. But the firepower, I wouldn't get too attached to it. And it's confirmed. Sure, it's fun. They did upgrade the QI to the MX.
Yeah. I also want to encourage people. I know you guys hear us say this all the time, but think about the role of ships too. I know it's difficult sometimes because roles aren't always active in the game, but really think about what does a heavy fighter do? Really think about what a light fighter does. Really think about what this does, because later on when those things start to become real in the game, you may find that the ship that did this 12 months ago maybe doesn't do it anymore. Or you may find out that, hey, it actually really does do better than I thought it would be. So pay attention to roles just as much as you pay attention to all the other specifications on these different ships. Okay. All right, let's hit the next one here. We're doing pretty good on our time. Our next one is going to be, the Misk Star Lancer TAC. We'll hit that one.
The Star Lancer TAC is a variant of the Star Lancer series. It kind of takes the Star Lancer chassis and outfits it with a more offensive loadout.
It's got remote turrets on top. The co-pilot's got some fun little missile turrets at the rear to keep people off the back end. You don't have access to every single gun on it. There's only 4 pilot-controlled guns.
You'll notice immediately from the exterior that it has these new 2 twin size 5 man turrets.
What makes this Misk is the shape language that was used to make this turret. It replicates the exterior of the ship, which contains round forms, welded forms, and chunky shapes.
Misk as a manufacturer, kind of really proud of their manufacturing, and they're not afraid to show it. You kind of see all the compound forms that reveal the underlying structure, where the fuel cells are, but it's a little more refined. Paneling is a lot cleaner. It's not something like a Drake ship where everything is just completely exposed.
I really like the Misk look. It's got this sort of darker stealth armor, so it looks really like sleek. The guys have done a really great job with the lighting on it. It's got this like really mean looking red lighting. It just looks really sick.
It does not have a cargo lift, but it still has your cargo bay in the back for 96 SCU and space for hauling ground vehicles. And you also have the addition of a hangar up top.
There were a lot of requests for a version that could carry a ship, so I'm glad we've managed to figure that out.
It can accommodate 1 Fury, but if you are a good pilot, you can accommodate 2 as well.
What we've done is we've stripped out the Max's separate habitation rooms and replaced those with the hangar.
It's not that much big, but it's compact. It has a landing pad there with really cool, small refueling parts.
We've extended the Max's habitation kitchen area to have its own bunk room. On the lower deck, we've replaced the long cargo bridge sort of area with a troop deployment area where some soldiers can jump out of like an extending gantry. And between that and the cargo bay is a small medical room.
No other Misk ships has a medical bay, so it was a bit hard at the first to get used to it, like how the design will be. What I feel the people will notice most will be the aesthetic of it. These bright lights and those metal floors. It's a bit high-tech, but it's not like very high maintenance.
The engineering and the cockpit are the same as the Max.
And in the cockpit, it's very spacious. It's accommodate pilot, co-pilot. It looks really cool because it's integrated with the bridge.
The turret room is located in the belly of the ship. At first glance, it resembles a shrine to warfare, with all the red lights around the ammunition, and the turret seats on the left and the right. It looks really cool. The animations are really cool, from the hatch closing over the player to the seat rotating and going into the turret, and the guns sliding out in preparation for battle.
The Star Lancer would be for like teams of players who really like missions in a large group of like soldiers. As well as like the actual people crewing the ship and the turrets, you've got quite a lot of space for ground pounders with rifles. The cargo bay in the back can be used for like some of the smaller vehicles like the Cyclone. I think it's a really good ship for like just team play.
Alrighty. I will read this one. Built for battle. In this time of growing uncertainty, MISC recognizes your need for assurance, protection, and the means to fight back. Join the Heroes Patrol on the Star Lancer TAC, designed for tactical assault and rescue. Choose your best crewmates to man the guns, tend to the med bay, and strap in for a drop seat deployment into hostile territories. Courage takes you into the fights. The Star Lancer TAC ensures you make it out. Sin, I'm coming to you first this time around. Your thoughts on this particular one? Have you had a chance to look at it, or just the
So
promo?
I've actually flown in this one and in the Max version, and I like them both. I like this one because I like that it has the medbay in it because I'm always getting hurt. So that's probably my favorite part about this ship.
Yeah.
But I also really like I don't know, I like the way that the turrets sit in the ship too. I think that's really cool. I don't know. I really like the ship a lot. Like it kind of makes me want one, but also like I don't want to pay the money for it, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Well, just sit back. Eventually, you can get it in game. So don't stress yourself. No worries. You're being smart. FC, how about you? Did you get a chance to take a look at the TAC?
I much like Sin said, I'm more of a Star Lancer Max fan, so I didn't really take the TAC because the TAC isn't really my gameplay style. It's not my gameplay style, bro.
We're gonna have to have a serious producers conversation. If you're gonna be on the show, you gotta go look at the stuff and talk about it. I'm not asking you to buy it. I'm just asking you to go over to the convention center and walk around on it. That's all I'm asking you to do.
But one thing I will say about the behind the ships video, I'm noticing there's not a lot of new developers being featured on this thing. I don't know if you noticed that. So I think that's cool with CIG. But rather than the Star Lancer TAC, I'm waiting for the Star Lancer Tick so I can get the Tic Tac bundle for people with mad breath. So that's what I'm waiting for. But other than that,
no, you're waiting for us to tell that joke.
I'm more of a Star Lancer Max fan. I'm definitely a Star Lancer Max fan compared to the Tick because Star Lancer Max is more my game style.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really have too much excitement for it because I'm waiting for the railing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Get talk railing. So that's what done.
Okay, we're gonna have to work on this really bad. Thankfully, Sin, I know that he has been on the next two ships. Thank God. At least I know he's been on those two. All right. So, a couple things about this ship. As you guys know, at CitizenCon last year. Yeah. Okay, Lagarde. So last year we were introduced to this series of new Star Lancer series of ships. The Max, which Sin talked about and fastcart talked about. Now we're seeing the TAC, and then the final one would be the BLD, the build, which is going to be for base building. And, my thing when I saw this ship, even before I went on it, but definitely when we saw this, I felt that this ship is kind of like the next step up version of what a Cutty Black is. And the Cutlass Black is kind of a very nice general purpose ship that we recommend to people, Sin, when they want to kind of move up from the starter pack. Because you can put troops on it, you can bring cargo on it, you can put a vehicle on it, you can do a lot of different things with it, right? But it's economical. This is kind of like the graduate of that to me. It feels multiple things that you could do. It's not great at everything. It's just good at a lot of things. The biggest complaint on this ship was about vehicle speed. We've got a couple friends in our group who really do exhaustive stuff on these things. Some of us get in the ship and it just feels good, but then there are other people who really can figure out, hey, this thing isn't that great. And I think that because this is a more of what they call a TAC or a tactical ship, it's not intended to go in and be a big fighter. It seems like it represents more of what would be like a AC-130. And when we saw the commercial for it, that's kind of what we saw. We kind of saw it circling around the folks and shooting from the sky and then deploying its people because it's not super fast. But I do have some good news for those of you who are Starlancer TAC owners. In the PTU, they have increased the numbers on this ship. So the TAC goes from 110 to 150 now. Those are the new numbers for it. And for SCM boost, it goes from 305 to 314. And then its nav speed goes from 915 to 960. It's not a lot, but it is something. And as fastcart mentioned earlier, these ships will get balanced. There will be things that will change later, and they're a little up, down, they move them around, and that may happen for a very long period of time. So that's why we say don't get hung up on any one particular thing. Look at a role that a ship is going to play, and then just kind of keep some room there for that elasticity to happen with the ships. The max is also being increased, by the way, from 135 to 160 for SCM. And SCM boost is going from 315 to 324. Nav speed is going to remain the same at 990. It's actually faster. And there are going to be other things that are going to happen later on that are going to impact these ships, folks. One of them, particularly for those of you who are doing any type of industrial or stuff like that, trade, weight. They've talked about in I think that thing with John Crew, they talked about how weight is going to be a factor with ship speed and departing and leaving. We don't deal with that right now, but when you start loading your ships up with cargo, you're going to have to factor in maybe what normally took me 3 minutes to get out of atmosphere. It might take me 4 minutes and 15 seconds to get out of atmosphere. So that might be the reason why you say, hey, maybe I need to get an escort just in case somebody wants to come after me. All these things are going to be things that we're going to have to be thinking about later on in the game.
I am very happy to be here.
That's that. Mick8, thank you for that follow. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. And Citizen Shenanigans, thank you as always for your sub. Thank you for supporting us as always too. Okay.
It doesn't happen often, but how often do we get to talk about a buff? A ship being buff in the game. We always talk. You always complain about it. Hear people complain about it.
Well, that's because even when they do buff them, we don't talk about it. We talk about when they get nerfed. Right, nerfing is always the bigger subject of stuff when it happens. One of the things that is interesting in here, and thank you, Lefty, for saying. I think it was Lefty or somebody made a comment about this because I joked about it too. On that one shot where they show the Starlancer leaving the battle area, you see the Fury kind of come up behind it and fly in and land. I said, ooh, I would love to know who that pilot was because that ain't no easy job. I put my Fury in mind last night for the first time, and it wasn't difficult, but static is one thing. Moving, you're going to tear that sucker up, guarantee you, because it is a very tight hole to get that Fury in. Some people told me they actually put an M50. I saw a picture of somebody actually crammed the M50 inside that thing. I'm like,
oh, how are you going to do that moving? Like, you can barely do that.
Listen, if your ship's on fire and you're trying to get out, you're going to tear that ship up trying to get out of there. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. All right.
All I got to say, Griff, is you got to practice. You got to practice that maneuver.
Yeah, not that
I don't know
one.
how many times it's going to take you to do it, but you'll get it eventually.
My maneuver is going to be stand still. That's going to be my maneuver. That's going to be my maneuver. All right. So let's go ahead and hit this next one here. We're going to be hitting up next with another one that's interesting, the Anvil Asgard. Let's take a look at that one.
The Anvil Asgard is the Valkyrie on steroids. It's here to deliver larger vehicles than the Valkyrie is capable of, but without the troop deployment side of it. This is for the person with a Nova tank that doesn't have a big enough garage.
I would say it's a beast with tons of weapons. It's ready for action combat.
I cannot imagine a ground vehicle that won't fit in the back of this ship, but I know where we work, so I think that's probably not a good idea to say. The big exterior changes are we've now got our missile rack on top of the ship.
It also looks more aggressive because all of its weapons now face forward. We've got 2 new wings on the top. They are now supporting engines instead of guns. We have new rear thrusters to help it propel itself. Now it's carrying a tank. I think one thing to notice is the underwing of the thing. It looks structurally sound. We really tried to make that extra wing that's now carrying an engine look like it can carry an engine.
We've also extended and thickened the rear ramp entrance so that the bigger Nova can actually fit.
If you're dropping into a battlefield for like a beach landing or something, you just like shoot everything at once, clear the area to let the tank or whatever come out the back.
We also have a few cool paints. My personal preference is the copper paint.
From the outside, it's obviously impressive. You don't really like get the full scope of how big it is until you like enter through those front doors and you see the roof just super far above your head. The hangar interior, it's basically just like huge cavernous space. Like a very tall area. It's almost, I've heard it described as being church-like. The side walls repeat in a fashion that's similar to like a cathedral. And at the end of it is a window to habitation that draws your eye towards it.
We've cut the crew complement down from 4 to 2 because there's only a pilot and a turret gunner / engineer now. So we have a full bunk for the pilot and the gunner. We then have a little bathroom off to one side.
Really comfortable habitation, suit locker, decent weapon rack.
And a chow line, I think is what we call it still. It also has a slightly bigger cargo grid than the Valkyrie. This one gets up to 180, but that's floor to ceiling in the back there, so it can be a little unwieldy if you do fill it up all the way. It's kind of in that weird spot where it's a military ship with an enormous cargo hold, so it kind of gets the best of both worlds.
You can get your tank on the battlefield with ease.
Providing as much fire as it wants to, you then close that ramp, lift it back off, and got the hell out.
All right, Sin, would you mind reading the piece on the Anvil Asgard for us?
Yeah. Introducing Anvil's new savior of the battlefield, the Asgard, a heavily armored vehicle dropship equipped for boundless resilience in the hottest combat zones. Power through relentless fire to deliver vital reinforcements, hold the front line, and keep the enemy retreating.
Thank you. Chooch, thank you so much for the 300 bits. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. FC, coming to you first on this one, the Anvil Asgard. This was just recently put out over the weekend on Friday. Your thoughts on the Asgard?
I think it looks cool. I really like the colors and the look of it. It's typically not my game style, but I did get to experience it, especially in game and on a mission. So yeah, this was actually one that I did experience, and it's cool. It just doesn't fit anywhere on my fleet, but yeah, I do like the look of it.
Okay. Sin, how about you? Did you get a chance to take a look at the Asgard?
Yes, I did toward this. I remembered this one.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. I did not, kind of like what they said in the video, I didn't realize how big really a lot of these ships were until you actually step inside and you're like, oh, all this is like in here? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and another thing I do have to say is that fitting a vehicle in here can be tricky sometimes, especially when someone leaves the side ramp down. It's hard to get out of the ship when the ramp is down. So hopefully, everyone will make sure that everything is ready to go before you try to take the vehicle out and the cargo.
Yeah, I think part of the problem or part of the thing is that we have not had vehicles other than something like a C2 or an M2 to go in and out of with these vehicles before. Any of the Atlas platform things like the Spartan, those longer troop issues with the missiles or the rockets or the guns. And so people just have to get used to it because they just haven't had it. But I think that the Asgard has been a surprise of the convention from this week. I was looking at it everybody knows I've been talking about the Asgard since the beginning of the week. My question was, how much is it going to cost? But once it came out and people tried it out, people were excited about it. But there's also been a little bit of controversy about this ship. There are people who have bought Valkyries, who had Valkyries, and some people feel like, well, this is better than the Valkyrie. I don't necessarily see it as better than the Valkyrie. In fact, I see it as being different than the Valkyrie. I think the Valkyrie definitely still has this place in the Star Citizen universe, but the Valk is a ship that is actually accommodates, I think, 26 people total, 20 people in the troop transport areas and 6 other people operating inside the ship. This ship minimizes that down to a crew of 2. You can have 4, but it is a crew of 2 is the way it's listed. And it's designed to be basically a vehicle drop ship or a support ship or a ship that could be used for hauling cargo that's heavily armored and defended. So it's a different type of role than the Valk. The Valk, I think, the Valkyrie costs a little bit more than this one does. But I don't think that there's disparity between these. And the reason why I thought the ship was going to be less fastcart and Sin is because the C2 is $400. And the Valkyrie, I think, is, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, it's either $375 or $395. I don't know what a Valk is right now. So my thing was, there's no way this ship can be equal to the Valk, and it can't be as high. Some people thought it was going to be higher. I'm like, it can't be the price of a C2. So for me, I was interested in this because, thank you, Sandgroper, for 375. For me, this fits the perfect spot because sometimes taking a C2 out or an M2, it's a bigger platform, it's a bigger target, it's riskier. If you just want to take out, I think this thing holds like at least four tumbrels, maybe 6 even. I'm not sure. God only knows how many bikes you could put into it, and you could definitely put a tank in it. So the risk factor of taking this out and doing a drop versus taking an M2 out, which is much bigger, takes up a bigger footprint. I felt this is like a great step down from that. Nothing against the M2 or the C2. It's just that it's riskier. They're bigger ships, and I'd rather go in with something like this if I'm only bringing a couple of items. And this is going to be great for people who want to transport things even across the verse, if they want to transport vehicles or things like that. We don't have the Liberator in the game right now, but this could easily be, yeah, there you go, Hop Kebab. This could easily be something that would step in for that, for things like the Ballista and other vehicles and stuff. So
and I agree. I agree with you, Griffin. It's like I didn't really get the controversy for this one between the Valk and the Asgard. I think that they serve 2 different roles, like you said.
Yeah.
The Valk is more of a dropship for people.
Yeah.
And the Asgard is more of a dropship for vehicles, and we could people in the vehicles if you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, they serve 2 different roles, so.
Yep.
I didn't really see it, but you know, community being a community, they find point to stir up basically, you know, sometimes. But I didn't see the controversy myself.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to say about this ship too, this is a good example of seeing how CIG does better with each design that they do. We know this is based off the same design as the Valkyrie, but there's something here. Stunner, thank you for saying what you said, because there's something that I did want to highlight that was different about this ship. One of the complaints about the Valkyrie was that the Valkyrie has an open air aspect to it in the cargo area and also in the upper area where the gunners sit. In other words, later on, when they introduce vacuum into the game, if you open up any of those doors or ramps, you're going to suck all the oxygen out. And anybody who's upstairs operating a turret or something, if they don't have on a flight suit or a helmet, they're going to get impacted by that. When they did the Asgard, they closed off that upper deck now. So now when you look out over the ladder area, the ladder has a seal plate that closes and opens, and it also has glass there. So now they protected you if you're in that upper area from the atmosphere, whether it be heat or vacuum or cold, which is really nice. And that means we know they're going to probably do that with the Valkyrie as well. People were saying for the Valk, put in an air shield, something like that they can do to make the same type of situation. So I'm sure they probably will. But it is nice that we can see how they've rethought some things, refined some things, and made it really, really nice. So, yeah, absolutely, Quinn. I think they're going to do it as well. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Last but not least, we're going to go to the big enchilada here. Let's go ahead and do this next one, which is going to be for the one and the only Idris, the Idris P.
What is the Idris?
It's a big bloody spaceship. The Idris for me was almost like the second stepping stone of 100% belief that we could make this project a reality. We took the concept off Ryan Church many, many years ago. I think it was one of the first ones that got developed for the game. Huge undertaking across the board. And when I first saw that taking off in that demo with the crew on board, it was a true sort of like, okay, we can do this, we can deliver on the promise that Chris had envisioned, you know, several years before.
The
The Idris is a frigate used by the UAE Navy, but it was also available to civilians in a sort of wide range of specifications.
It's one of the more sought-after ships that people have wanted to use in the universe for just one of the longest times at this point.
It has enough crew and provisions on board to support long-duration patrols. It has plenty of armament to defend itself and attack aggressors, and hangars on board for a wide range of ships. There are multiple versions of the Idris, the most popular being the Idris P, the P standing for Peacekeeper. This is the civilianized version of the Idris. It trades some of the prior military assets for increased cargo storage. At its core, it is essentially a flying hangar with all the crew facilities around that.
What it's very good at, though, is killing things.
It starts with a front upper manned turret, which is size 5. This is swappable, which we'll talk about in a bit. Then there are 7 additional size 5 turrets spread across the top and bottom of the ship.
These are perfect for dealing with mid-sized targets and give you fantastic coverage across the whole ship through all the different angles they could approach you from.
Whilst they are lasers by default, you can swap them to a wide variety of other weapons in the game.
But that's not all the firepower that the ship has to offer. It also has 4 remote turrets, which are size 4, which are a little bit better at dealing with more agile fighters.
So at this point in the game, you are looking at having a minimum of 12 people on an Idris P to fully crew just the weapons.
So make sure you've got plenty of friends to tag along.
Obviously, flying a ship this big with this much armament makes yourself a big target, and for that reason, the Idris comes with 11 point defense system hardpoints. These are the exact same point defense system weapons that you've seen on ships like the Polaris and 890 Jump. For those of you lucky enough to have an Idris M, it comes with a number of key differences that improve the Idris P. Primarily, it comes with a size 10 railgun, default equipped on the nose.
Now, anyone that's taken part in any of the Idris missions and been unlucky enough to fly past it just as that shot goes off, you all know how devastating that can be when it hits.
The upper front turret is upgunned to a size 7 turret. The cargo room is replaced by the missile launcher, and it has increased armor over the base Idris P. But it does lose the lower rear man turret for all these other changes, so it's not perfect. For those Idris P owners who want a bit more bite to their Idris and missed out on getting an Idris M, we do offer 2 ways to sort of improve your Idris P: the Idris K kit and the Idris T kit.
This is a kit. It's not a whole Idris.
They are simply Idris M's or P's with additional items swapped out in their loadout.
It's parts. I can't... The amount of times...
Because it often gets confused, and it has been over the years.
That I've had to remind people there isn't an Idris K.
There is no such thing as an Idris T variant.
It's an aftermarket kit. Anyway.
The Idris K kit comes with a bunch of new items that can be applied to the Idris. Primarily, there is the size 10 laser beam that goes in place of the railgun.
The beam is one of the first real beam weapons that we've added to the game. Obviously, you've got the mining laser, but this is an actual weaponized version of it. And if anything gets in its way, it's going to quickly wish that it hadn't. The next item in the kit is a size 7 manned missile turret, which places the front turret of the Idris.
It also comes with 5 additional PDS weapon systems to help fill the additional slots on the P, and a cool black and red paint. The new Idris T kit is a companion to the K kit, and it sort of takes your Idris in a less weapon focus and putting it into more of a torpedo and ordnance focus.
So the first thing is a new nose-mounted weapon. A set of size 12 torpedoes, a total of 20 of them, that fire out of 4 fire pods. Now obviously, that's a lot of torpedoes. And for anyone that watched one of our more recent Citizen Cons, here's a message back for Elwyn. Fuck the Polaris.
The views and opinions of Mark Gibson do not represent those of Cloud Imperium Games, Roberts Space Industries, or its subsidiaries. They do represent Jared Huckabee's, though.
The top turret is an alternate size 7 bespoke ballistic cannon turret,
which is going to add some serious firepower.
The last piece is 5 additional PDS systems. These ones fire missiles rather than energy weapons.
In addition to that, this also comes with another unique skin you've never seen before.
If you look at the layout of the ship, including the exterior from the top down, there is no space conserved. It's packed. One of the most impressive spaces on the Idris is the main hangar. This is the center of operations. It's where you come and go, where you land your ship.
You've got everything that you need, plenty of space.
You can see space for offboarding cargo. It's got ramps for bringing in and out of equipment. The bridge is quite special.
I like the fact that it's almost a sort of glass house in space, full views all the way around.
You have this sense of importance, like you're commanding the vessel. The corridors, they're like the connective tissue of the ship. They're bold, they have a really distinct profile to them. You've got these white, clean floors that you can imagine some janitor kind of polishing up constantly. It really feels believable. The mess hall is quite municipal, quite utilitarian. It's not the most extravagant space. I just like how tangible it is. The bunks have a very strong nautical, almost submariner type feel to them. Another space I really enjoy is the engine room. It feels like a nuclear reactor. The theme with the ship is everything is functional and military. You get the impression that everything was designed for a purpose and space was at a premium.
The Idris has been a ship people have been waiting for ages, and it means something different to everyone, and how everyone's going to use it is really down to them.
So what's the deal here? I thought we weren't going to release this until Squadron came out.
As Squadron has developed and the Idris has been in the PU in various guises for quite some time now, it's been quite clear internally that the two versions are very different things now. And it's not going to be a spoiler for Squadron. Now, even after this ship releases, it's still going to evolve further.
We've still got lots in the pipe that we want to bring to the ship for Squadron, and hopefully it will trickle through to you guys in the PU as and when we're ready to release it.
So now we're really excited to release the Idris to the PU, and it's going to make lots of people super happy that it is finally here in the game.
We couldn't do it without the teams across the board. Artists, VFX artists, lighting artists, physics, code, narrative. There's so many departments and people involved in bringing such a beast to life. Yeah, it's a big undertaking, so congrats.
All right. Sin, I'm going to come to you on this one for the read. No, I'm sorry, fastcart. I'm sorry, I got you last time. Fastcart, this one's on you.
Like big something I cannot lie. Those other brothers can't deny. The Idris P, your greatest ally in the pursuit of peace. For the leaders, the virtuous, and the truly courageous, the Idris Peacekeeper has arrived, a ship that has secured our past and continues to define our future. The steadfast tactical civilian class incarnation of the UEN Darling is available to fly for the first time, whilst maintaining the same potential for destruction and fighting capacity as its military sister ship, the Idris M. The newly flyable Idris Peacekeeper combined with the K and T kit allows each crew to completely customize their desired artillery. An incredible accomplishment in tactical shipbuilding. A limited number of frigates are available in Chairman's Club members only.
You can keep going. Might as well read Idris M too.
Okay. Idris M, a military legend, the most powerful and most awe-inspiring incarnation of the Idris, is ready to fly for the lucky few qualified pilots who made the grade and committed to excellence.
Okay, awesome. Just to give a little history on this ship. First of all, let me ask you guys about, before I get into that, Sin, to you, did you get a chance to take the tour or ride on this or fly it yet?
I have toured it and I rode on it for about 2 seconds before we got blown up, but yes.
Okay, so considering that this is one of the larger ships in the game, what were you when you first stepped on it and you walked on it? What were your thoughts?
I think it's really, really cool. I just get lost very easily, but I
Mhm.
get lost everywhere. But
Mhm.
especially this one, I feel like I never even found the bridge where like you actually go to like sit in the turrets, and I got lost way before then. So yeah,
Okay.
but I really enjoy the ship. I think it's really cool. I think
Mhm.
it's nice that something so vast can exist in the game. I like the different quarters that it has, like that
Mhm.
whole little like bathroom area. That's really cool. Like where you can sit down and like eat, I guess, with all the
Mhm.
different screens. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, like it made me want it.
Mhm.
I love it. I really, really
Hmm.
do.
Yeah. That means their marketing's good. If you feel that way, that means their
Oh
marketing's
yeah,
good.
for sure, for sure.
Fastcart, how about you?
Even though when I said at the beginning, this ship is too big.
Mhm.
Now people may say, but fastcart, the BMM is almost the same size. Yeah, but most of that is cargo. This ship is, yeah, it's layers upon a maze and whatnot. I got lost in it too, so don't feel bad. And you know, the we did I did go on it. Went on the tour. The tour was interesting. I think what's lacking about the tour is that I wish there were more NPCs on the tour to give wildlines and stuff like that, because it felt empty on the tour. So I would have preferred that. But
Mhm.
going to the ship itself and taking it on a mission and whatnot. Um, yeah, it's still big, but I can see how it had to place. Um, I went into one of the torpedoes, not torpedoes, the turret. Sorry, the turret. So I was firing on a different ship and stuff like that. One thing I will say that I didn't realize you had to see fire before a torpedo is fired. Otherwise, you might hit the torpedo. So that's something I learned. So that's good to know. So people take note. If you find someone is about to fire a torpedo, stop firing on your turret just in case. Um, but I did like the little disclaimer that they put in the video, because I think they learned the lesson with the character color with the Odyssey. So now whenever a developer has said something, they put in that disclaimer so people will know. So
Mhm.
they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
But yeah, this stuff is too big. Even though the band management is supposed to be around 238, Idris is 240, so it's almost the same size yet. But most of that is the cargo.
Mhm. Okay. Well, a little history on this for Sin in particular, and for those of you who weren't around back then. We saw this ship for the very first time 10 years ago. I think it was about 2015. There was I don't know if it was Gamescom, CitizenCon, I can't remember which one it was. But at the very end of the presentation, there was a person standing on the deck of Port Olisar. And at the very end, we looked up in the sky and we saw this ship fly over, and the place went crazy, right? That was the first time anybody ever saw it. So it has been a long time coming for this ship to come into the game. And of course, as mentioned earlier, CIG at one point did say that the Idris probably would not release until Squadron 42 releases. And there's been pros and cons on that. You know, should it wait? Should it not wait? You know, my general feeling of it is that I think that launching it at this particular point, particularly with CIG wanting to make sure that the persistent universe is doing something that the community has asked for, which is that the performance of the game be much more reliable and stable. In order to make that happen, you have to throw the kitchen sink into it, and you have to work on those things to get the game to play well. Sin, just so you'll know, there was a time when if someone spawned in the what was it, the Starfarer, you know, the big fueling ship that's in the game. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but if you spawned it into the game, it would crash the entire game out. It was the biggest ship at the time. It was 100 meters long. And if you were someplace else in the universe and the system crashed, you knew somebody must have spawned in a Starfarer, okay? So that's how bad it was. Just spawning in one ship could crash out the system. I was out with the other... What are you going to say, Fastcart?
And then later on, people found out that, you know, CIGs like to test something, but they make it hidden. So what they did was, inside of a planet, they put a javelin or Idris, and someone fell to a planet and saw the ship in the middle of it. So that's how CIG can test to see whether or not a server can handle having a particular ship in the universe or whatnot. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
So now, like last week when we went out, there were 5 Idrises in an area attacking a Polaris, and the game was running good, you know? So we've changed over those years. They've been able to get the technology to the point where something as big as an Idris, which is way bigger than a Starfare, and 5 of them in the same area, all having a battle with no hitching, no problems, no crashes, right? So to me, in order for them to get the game where it wants to be, we need to be able to have these ships now where instead of 2 and 3 people or 5 or 6 people being on a ship, you can actually have 15, 20, 25 people on multiple ships, all doing different things. And they've got to do that in order to get the servers and the server meshing and everything working really, really good. So, you know, I can understand that people have anticipation and wanting to wait, but I can also understand that there are people who've waited 10 years, 11 years for the ship to come out, and now they finally have it. Mind you, it is not 100% operational in the sense of all of the things that it can do. We know that there's still engineering, and we still know that there's the galley and the food that you talked about, Sin, all these other areas that they want to put into the game that they want to make work. But for now, the ship is functional. People can go in there and have a good time with it. It gives the Polaris a little bit of a challenge. And I think it's a good thing for it to be in the game right now. And hopefully we'll see some other things that'll start to develop from this. This ship, in case you don't, let me share this also, Fastcart, before you jump in. The other thing too, Sin, is that the Idris M, the military version of this ship, there are very few military versions of everything. The history or the lore of this game says that everything we own is either stuff that's been decommissioned by the military or it was made for civilians. But the Idris M, the military version of this ship, was sold under a limited sale. There are only so many of those in the game. The Idris P, there are a lot more of those in the game. And the only way to get the Idris M now is if you buy one of the larger, when I say larger, I mean really larger packages in the game. But the Idris P can be purchased still at this. Well, they sold out, right? They're going to resell it, selling some more. But they and the funny thing is, at the price point that these are at, I hate to say it's in because I saw you jokingly say if I could afford one of these, these things go on sale and they go out within, sometimes they're gone in seconds. They're gone within seconds. It's mind blowing to see that people can just, you know, have that type of money. And then there's other ships like the Javelin. Yeah, I mean, the Kraken is the same thing. The Kraken's $2,000. It flew out the window within seconds. You know, the Javelin goes on sale. It flies out the window within seconds. So there will be some of us, Sin, who will be out there grinding. You know, we'll be grinding. Don't worry. That's how it'll happen. You know, so go ahead, FC. What were you going to say?
In 2023, October 2023, before CitizenCon, the FAC went on sale, and this is another ship that CIG had proclaimed will not be available until Squadron 42 releases. But you know, there are several people who had there's a $10,000 tier. I think what it's called, but one of the concierge tier where you get an FAC in your as a gift from CIG. And also in $15,000 tier, you get a skinned FHC. So CIG decided to go ahead and to make that available for people who had those, who've been waiting for it for so many years. And so after the FHC was released, many of us suspected it would be only a matter of time before the Idris 2 came out, became available.
Yep. Right now, I think the Idris, the Praetorian, the one you mentioned, Fastcart, is the only one that has the Idris M available in it now. Lefty, thank you for that offer. I appreciate it. I'm always happy to crew people's ships. I don't want one. It's so tempting. It is so tempting. Like Sin was saying, you know, once you see it. Well, for you, you know, I like flying big ships, so that's my thing, you know.
Okay.
But it's just. But the reality of it is there's so, like, our organization, Test Squadron, has over 3,500 Idrises in the org. So there's no reason for me to go buy it. Wow. Idris, there's enough people that don't have them out there already. So it's a bit of overkill. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the kits real quick, and then we're going to get into some more stuff. But we're going to take our quick commercial break because we're running just a little bit over. So you guys hang in there with us just 1 minute, and then we're going to be right back. And then we're going to pick up from where we left off at with everything that's going on. Thanks for being here with us. Okay, if you are here, that means you are one of our subscribers, one of our supporters, and we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you as always for those of you who have continued to support and contribute, whether it be through Patreon, PayPal, whether it be through YouTube, or whether it be through Twitch. We really appreciate you guys being here and hope you're enjoying the show. Special thank you to Sinful, who's on with us today. You look like you finally kind of relaxing now. You going with the groove. The nervousness.
I'm still nervous.
You still nervous?
I'm still sweating bullets over here. Don't worry.
Well, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're doing good. Want to say thank you to all. I hope you guys are enjoying Invictus. Next week, we are going to be starting our new show, and it's going to be called Faux Pas, or what is it called? I forget what it's. Something Faux Pas. But basically, we're going to be talking about how CIG makes mistakes and what are some things they can do to stop making mistakes, fixing faux pas. So that's going to be our thing next week. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us next week for that show. And it's always, once again, thank you all for your continued support in what we do. We really appreciate it. All righty, we are back. We are back. And thank you guys for being here with us. Hope you guys are enjoying it. For those of you in the States, Memorial Day weekend, you guys, some of you all don't have to go to work tomorrow. Don't have to go to school tomorrow. You can chill out. You can play a little bit more Star Citizen. You can spend more money. Don't spend more money, but you can spend more money if you want to. All right.
Well,
So-
I mean, spend more money if you had the disposable income.
yeah,
But
if you
we
got the
prefer
disposable income, if you want to
if you-
support the
we would prefer
game.
we would prefer if you would come to Quantum Vegas and Las Vegas in July.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too. Absolutely. But yeah, if you're supporting the game, we get it. Enjoy Invictus while you can. Okay. All right. We're going to jump into a couple more items here that we just came off talking about the Idris. And I've got these slides are kind of screwy. So y'all forgive me if they're off track. There were, you guys know that and maybe Sin doesn't know this also. Sin, if you remember, they talked about how the Idris M, the military version, was a little bit more beefed up and more powerful than the Idris P, because that's a civilian version. Well, one of the things that they did on the Idris M when it first came out, it had this big freaking laser, not the laser, but the, what do they call it? fastcart? The rail gun. The big rail gun. Now, Sin, you probably haven't seen this happen, but if that rail gun ever hits you, it's over. Boom. One shot. I mean,
I've heard about the rail guns.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
yes.
one-shot
I have
stuff,
heard about
right?
them.
It
Yeah,
one-shot stuff,
yeah.
right? So, but it was only on the Idris M. And so when the Idris P came out, people were like, oh man, we need something like at least kind of comparable. So they ended up coming with that laser that you see, right? The beam that comes out, right? So that's what the Idris P has, right? But then they also had these kits that they did. I'm going to read the kit information. For the Idris K is laser loaded. The Idris K kit offers a Hurston Dynamics Exodus laser chin weapon, an enhanced F7 missile launcher nose turret, 5 additional PDCs, and a unique paint job. That's on the Idris K. I think I got the right kit up right now, okay? And then there's also the Idris T. That's the torpedo loaded. Okay, and that one, the Idris T kit offers a torpedo launcher as its main chin weapon and enhanced S7 ballistic cannon nose turret, in addition to 5 PDCs and a unique paint job. Okay. Now, those are additional modules that people can swap and put on the front of their ships. You can use it on either the M or the P, if I'm not mistaken, to enhance those ships in whatever type of battle situation you're going into, entirely up to them. These packages are not cheap. They're anywhere from $250 to $350 or $400, if I'm not mistaken, depending on which one you get. So you got to add a few more dollars onto that for that particular ship. But there are people who bought these kits because they want to have the versatility to be able to change out based upon what their need is in the game. Sin, did you get to see the laser one and the one with the railgun, or did you just see one of them?
I think I've just seen one of them.
Okay, because the one that's docked up at the tour is a P.
I've seen the one in the tour.
Okay.
Yes, and then I don't remember the one that I was in. I don't remember which one that was.
Okay, that's fair enough. There is a visual difference when you look at the front of them, but the other thing is I think the Idris M doesn't have a turret on the back rear of the ship, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that's one of the things you can look for to tell whether it's Idris M or Idris P. Okay.
And Griff, I don't know about you, but I can't wait for the Idris Elba kit. I'll get a deeper voice and increased height. So I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be the Idris E, huh? Have the Idris E, the Idris Elba. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and jump forward a little bit here. And let's talk about patch bundles. These were kind of hard to find on the website. For those of you who don't know how to find these or couldn't find them, when you go to the Invictus page, you're going to see up the top where it says event schedule. And if you go there, if you click on it, you'll see the weekly schedule, but then you'll also see a thing that says mods. And when you click on that, that'll take you to the areas that we're going to be showing you now, because some people said it's not that intuitive to find these. Okay. This is only some samples here of the patch bundles, but there were 3 here. One called the True Valor patch bundle. One was the Clawed Steel in that order that you see on the screen. And the other one was called the New Dawn. How did you guys feel about these? I have mixed feelings about patch bundles, and I'll share my thoughts about it later on. So FC, I'm going to go to you. Usually with these bundles, you get like a ship paint, a piece of armor, and a weapon or something like that. What are your thoughts on those?
I'm okay with them selling it. It's just that, you know, no one is holding a gun to my head saying I have to buy it. I don't see the big deal about it. CRD is fine with selling these, but I didn't pick one of these up myself. I had picked up prior one before the sale, like the Red Alert one. That was all weapons and armor.
Okay.
And so yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It's just, you know, none of these interest me.
Okay. Sin, how about you?
I personally think it's really cool, like to be able to match my ship with like my armor and what I have on. I really like that. Like personally, like so like when I play in game, I like to look good, okay, when I play. So like the idea of matching with my ship, that sounds really amazing. I would say the only thing that like I maybe don't like about it, if I had anything to complain about, would be the fact that like if I don't own that particular ship, it doesn't come with the bundle, so then I have to buy that separately.
Yep.
And I know these ships are not cheap, so that would be like my main gripe if I had to choose something that I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Remember, you can buy these ships in game separately. You don't have to pay real money for them too. So there is that.
So that's my question then. So like if I were to buy this, I can still apply, like even if I buy the game, buy the ship in game, I can still have that. Oh, well,
yeah.
Hold on now, y'all might have just changed the game. No,
you can.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
But there's another side to it, right? And the other side of it is, what if I don't like the ship anyway? That's my problem. Like I might like the armor, or I might like the weapon because that's what I want, but I don't want to fly the Aegis Harbinger. You know what I mean? I don't want it. It's not even the ship I want. So but I do want the paint, right? Or I do want the matching gun that goes with it. I'm like you. These guys will tell you I'm a fashionista. Okay, so I definitely want to go with what looks cool. And so my thing is, there have been some packages like this where I'll see something that I like color-wise or scheme-wise, and then I don't buy it because it's like, I don't want the other stuff. I just want this. So there's a part of me that wants them to do it a la carte. Now, I will say this. After 90 days, I don't know if you heard this or not, Sin, after 90 days, anything that is usually sold in the store becomes available to be got in-game. So
I have heard that, yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't become a matter of, 90 days from now, will these paints be available? Like, will a ship paint be available, or will this armor be available? If it is, great. I got the patience. I can wait 90 days. It's not burning my pocket that much. But if it's only sold, like that Corsair kit that came out recently, which I really liked, I wasn't that crazy about the armor. The armor was kind of okay. But I did like the gun, and I like the paint, but they made the paint only for the Corsair. It doesn't go for any other ship. So it's like, I lost out on it. So I understand that they can only do paint. They can't do one paint that does every ship. I get that. But the fact that they bundle them like this, for me, sometimes does make me say, I don't want it, or I'll wait, and if it's there later, I'm happy, if it shows up later. What were you going to say, FC?
Sometimes you never know, or maybe I miss it somehow. Sometimes during IAU or Invictus, they have a limited time paint. It's only available for 2-week period.
Right.
And there was one for the Hornet Mark II last year. There was only for a limited time. Unfortunately, it was only available for that period of time and won't be available again. So there's a couple of those that have missed out a couple of times, and that's disappointing. So I'm always trying to, if I like a paint, like right now, the MTC Baracus, because it's the A team. I haven't picked that up yet. I'm hoping it's a mainstay and not a temporary time limited time item.
Do they ever? And I can't remember because I'm getting old. Do they put down whether a paint is limited or not?
They try to, but sometimes they miss it, or maybe I missed it.
Okay, because I know, like
Yeah,
for example, the Invictus paints that are up right now, like they had some of those still running last time, right? So sometimes it's a paint that just comes up at a particular time, like you said, or not even a suit of armor. Usually it's a paint or something. As long as it's available later, I'm cool with it. You know how I was about the piano, right? That sucker disappeared off the store when I wanted it back in the day. But I try to stay away from it. And Admiral was saying that a few minutes ago. There's a FOMO side of it that exists too. But as long as I know I can get it later, if I can go to Dumpers Depot or go to whatever that joint is in Orson and I can go get my paint later, I'm fine with it. I don't feel the urgency on it. Yeah. Okay. So that's it on the patch bundles. Let's go to the next one here. Now, this is where the controversies start to kick in a little bit here from this past week. And again, Sin, I'm going to kind of lean towards you first a little bit on this because I know fastcart's aware of it. Did you hear some of the hubbub that was going on in relation to the weapons kits and the blades, the AI blades? Did you hear any of that, or did it go past you?
Yeah, no, I was in someone's stream and they were complaining about blades, but like I didn't know what blades were, and I tried to ask, but I think everyone was so riled up that like my question got missed. So like I don't know what blades are, but I did hear a lot about like the controversy and what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's what's happened here. These new things that we're looking at now, these weapon kits, are a new way that people are going to be doing ordnances on their ship, meaning missiles, torpedoes, and things like that, right? And normally we've been able to just attach things to the ships and use them. And I'm going to combine both the weapons kits and the blades because they're kind of tied in a little bit. Blades, I think, had a little bit more heat than anything else. And what came out of this was this. Depending on people's impression or interpretation, AI blades have been something that have been talked about in Star Citizen for a long time. And I want to be really clear about what AI blades are. Okay. Initially, the idea of this was some type of device that you would put in your ship that could do certain operations within your ship without a person. So, for example, let's say you and your friends are in your ship and one of your friends gets killed and they were operating one of your turrets. You'd be able to take a blade, put it in there, and then it would be automated, right? It would run itself, okay? And so that's something that people have been looking forward to, this AI side of things that maybe your ship normally needs 8 people. Maybe I can use 2 or 3 blades, and I can run my ship with 3 people or 5 people or whatever, okay? So when we heard about these blades coming out, people thought it was going to be something like that. And then CIG said, no, it's not that right now. We're bringing out something that will help you tune your ship. Maybe give you a little bit more speed, maybe give you a little bit more maneuverability. And people are like, okay, we're curious to see what it is, right? So then Invictus comes, it hits the store, but they didn't tell us they were going to sell them to us, okay? So people were kind of like, whoa, where did this come from? Because they see these items being similar to components that are in the game right now. And you know how we don't pay for components, right? You just go buy them in the store. And I think most of the community felt like, oh, when they put these in the game, we'll be able to go to Dumpers Depot, we'll be able to buy a UEC and put them in our ship, right? Instead, CIG monetized them, okay? And so people felt that, first of all, it put up a paywall, right? Because now you can get one and pay for it and your ship runs better than mine. But the only way I can make my ship like yours is what? I got to buy one. Right. Okay. So that was the controversy in a nutshell. It's a little bit more, but that's general. You get the general idea. So CIG heard the community and said, okay, we hear you. We are going to make it so that when we put something out like this, it'll be available both to be bought in the game store for AUEC as well as if people want to pay for it. Now, you may ask, why do people pay for stuff? Right. The crazy history of all this is that back in the day, we didn't have a way to rent ships and we didn't have a way to buy ships in the game. The only way if you wanted that ship was you had to pay cash for it. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Back in the day. Then eventually they made it so that we could rent ships and then eventually we could buy ships. So that pressure's gone now. That's the cool thing about this game is that now you don't have to spend money, just earn it in the game and you can get it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's always been the case. But in this particular case, it became a paywall. There was all of a sudden something in the game that we could not get in the game, right? And we got to pay for it. And people felt like when it comes to win, that's where the pay to win side of it came from, right? That now this person, well, now that they've tested the blades, they found out that the increase that they do is so nominal that it ain't even probably worth that much to even bark about, right? But still, it's the principle. But it's still the principle of the
Right.
thing, right? Because people are afraid that CIG is going to start monetizing everything, right?
Right.
And so that was kind of the hook that started this big controversy. Now, since then, CIG has said, okay, hey, next month these things will be available in the store for you guys to buy with in-game money. Now, there have been some suggestions. Fastcart, what do you think would have been a better way? And we're going to talk about this next week when we do our full pod show. But what do you think might have been a better way for CIG to introduce this feature into the game? Was there a better way they could have done it?
Maybe have an announcement saying that we're going to come up with the blades coming soon, so look out for them.
Well, people knew they were coming
out of the blue.
No, people knew they were coming. People knew the blades were coming.
Not just Invictus though.
Yes, they did. They didn't know there was going to be a price tag on it. Y'all, chat, didn't we know these were coming? Chat, ask chat. Chat, didn't we know the blades were coming? Yeah, okay. Well, it had leaked that the blades were coming. People knew blades were coming.
Okay. I don't pay attention to the leaks, so maybe that's my bad. But
Yeah.
I've always been interested in blades because back in the day, a long time ago, when I first bought the BMM for the cheap price that it was, and I was like, okay, I'll go put these blades. I'm going to have NPCs. I'm going to be able to run this ship by myself. I was one of those people back in the day. So forgive me. But since then, I have learned it won't be that easy to run a ship solo.
Yeah.
So I've always had an interest in blades. But this is the tier 1 or tier 0 or the introduction of AI blades. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
expecting there'll be different tiers that will have performance increases based on the money you spent. Like this is you have maybe the ones that now are $30. I'm expecting it'll be $40, $50, or divide them in game for like 10K, 20K, or 30K UEC, alpha UEC.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is just, the introduction to it.
Yeah.
But, I'm still hoping for like the AC Vertical said on Captain Table yesterday, these are nominal, very slight improvement, but they are improvement. So I'm looking forward to the better ones. I'm definitely going to get those in game when those come out. And like we talked about yesterday, the Heartseeker Mark II pack sold really well. So maybe that's what CID was looking at when they made this faux pas with regarding the bomb racks and the blades. So, but now they know. Hopefully,
yeah.
they'll be better. But
Maybe.
I mean, we keep saying that.
Yeah, maybe they do. And here's the other side of it, Sin, just so you'll know that the idea of that we talked about being able to use a blade to replace a player is still all in theory. Not that it can't happen. Even if the technology is there, the question is going to be, once they balance the game, will CIG let us do that? Like, will they allow you to only 50% of your ship can be automated, maybe 30%? We do know that they're not going to make us that you can take an Idris out and the whole thing be automated, right? We just don't know where it's going to land, right? But we do know that and then again, CIG has also made it clear that they want cooperative group play to be part of what this game is, right? They're not trying to run a solo game. When you get a ship that big, they want you to get together with other people and use it.
Right.
So there's a lot of FOMO about this. There's a lot of excitement. Some people who have even bought these bigger ships have bought it based on the idea that they heard, oh, I'm going to be able to run this big ship. That's a maybe. We just don't know, so it's a gamble to me. If you're relying on that, it's okay. If you've got friends, you got some people that'll get out there and do it, it's great. But as you guys saw when we watched the video just a few minutes ago, they talked about the fact that the Idris has 12 weapons, 12 turrets. That's 12 players. I know in the cockpit area, there are 6 seats. There's a captain's seat, there's a pilot's seat, there's a weapon officer seat, there's an engineer's seat, and a navigator's seat. That's at least another 5 or 6 people. So that's a minimum of 12 people. That doesn't include what happens when your ship catches on fire or when a shield goes out and somebody has to repair something. So you can see how exponentially you need to have the right amount of people on these ships later on when these ships go out to really do battle. Right now, it's not an issue. But later, when these systems start to break down, when engineering kicks in, you're going to need people to play on these really, really big ships. So we'll see where it all goes later on.
I do remember, like I said, But back in the day, I was really excited when they announced the idea, the concept of Blades.
Mhm.
You know, I was going to, like I said, we have all these NPCs and Blades. I'll be able to fly these ships solo, maybe. But now, later on, it came out that yes, you may be able to fly these ships solo, but it'll be a significant hindrance to you as a player.
Yeah.
If you were to do that.
Yeah. You know, we'll see. You know, Lady Space Patrol, I agree with you. It doesn't help when CIG does things like this and players get chased away. But you know what? Most of the time, those players chase away, they come back. You know, my general experience has been that people get frustrated and they come back, and then that's okay. You know, I think that the Blades will be a part of what goes on in the game, but I think that, again, they're going to have to find what's the right balance, because you can already see what's happening with PDCs, right? And PDCs are nothing more than what Blades will be later on, right? They've already got that there. They could put that in the game if they wanted to. It's just not there yet because they need to make sure it's done well and done right. But you guys know right now, PDCs will devastate everything. And I remember a long time ago, Todd Pappy, remember when Todd Pappy talked about the fact, or I think it was Todd Pappy, he said that we can make NPCs so that they one-shot you, like everything's done.
Right, you did say that.
You know,
yeah,
they said that.
NPCs.
Yeah, they said there's no question. I think they were talking about the Retaliator back then. They said they can make that ship where it hits 100%. But they have to balance it out so that there's a feeling of realism there. And, you know, what are percentages of hits and things of that nature. But right now, as we know, our PDCs shoot our friends, right? They don't just shoot the enemies. They've got to work through that. So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done. Okay. But in the meantime, when it comes to this stuff, we always encourage you guys, listen, spend your money the way you want to spend it. But we always encourage you. We know a lot of time has passed, but sometimes it's worth waiting those 90 days. Sometimes, and I started this earlier saying, why do people spend money instead of waiting? The big monster we all fight is FOMO, right? That feeling that we see the cool factor and it's like, I got to have that right now, right? But the other side is that there are a group of people who will buy things in the game, whether it be a ship or whatever, because when they're playing, because of maybe time or because, as fastcart said, they have the money to do it. They buy something because they don't want to grind, right? They want to be able to, if their ship gets blown up or if there's a patch, their ship is there, right? Whatever it is, it's there. Buying these Blades, if you buy them, if your ship gets blown up, you'll have them, okay? Other people don't mind the grind. They find the grind the challenge, right? They say, hey, I want to go out there and go in the universe and find them and get these special Blades and do that other stuff, right? There are people like me. I'm 60 years old. I have been grinding for 40 years. I ain't trying to grind 41. So I spend my money and get what I want, okay? Young folks with your energy, sin, y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. You know, y'all can have it, sin, have at it, knock yourselves out, you know. Because one of the things you said on your stream the other day is you talked about time. You said, who has time to do this stuff, right? So that's a reality, right? For me, my time, I got the time, but I've been there, done that. So there's different people who and I don't get me wrong, there's some things I don't mind grinding for. And there are other things it's like, nope, I ain't grinding for no friggin' 890 jump. You know what I'm saying? I'll grind for a fighter, but I'm not going to grind on that level. So even items like this, there are people who will pay for them, even if it was available in the store. Even if people could have got it with AUEC, they would still spend the money to buy those items because they just want to have them. Then you got those people out there who are completionists. They just want to buy everything. Doesn't make a difference. They just gonna buy it. Okay. Lefty. Lefty with his 4 Idrises. Okay. There's gonna be some people out there who are just gonna buy it because they that's what they enjoy doing. That's their pastime, right? And there's nothing wrong with that either. I had to mess with Lefty. All right. But anyway, that's enough of the crazy controversy. Oh, you only have 3 Idrises.
I only have 3 Idris.
My apologies for getting that wrong. Okay. All right. Well, listen, you know, we told you guys when we first got started, we're happy to have Sin with us today and in fastcart, but we are going to do some giveaways today. So we want to kind of do that because we're going to kind of wrap things up in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, we want to talk to you about an event that we have. You guys have heard us talking about it the past few weeks, which is, I was going to say Invictus. Gotta get my brain together. Quantum Vegas 2955. This is our event that we are sponsoring for the community. And we partnered with CIG, and we're going to be having it in Las Vegas on July the 12th. And so let's run the video real quick for you guys to see that. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do our giveaways.
Citizens of the Verse, get ready. This summer, the ultimate Star Citizen community event lands in Las Vegas. Join me Saturday, July 12th at Area 15 in Las Vegas, Nevada for an unforgettable day celebrating Star Citizen and the incredible community that makes it all possible. Panels, special guests, giveaways, and more. There's even a bar citizen the night before. This is the Star Citizen event you don't want to miss. Seating is limited and tickets are on sale now, but they won't last, so secure yours before they're gone.
For tickets and information, visit quantumvegas.space and follow our social media on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Quantum Vegas 2955. By the community, for the community.
Okay, and as you guys can see, May 31st, the ticket prices are changing. So if you want to come to Quantum Vegas and spend a weekend in Vegas, we've got a Bar Citizen that night before, which is going to be really, really great. Bar Citizen International is going to be sponsoring that. And then we're going to be having the event. It's a 9-hour, 10-hour event on that Saturday. Who's going to be there? Galactic is going to be there. Tyler Whitkin's going to be there. Sean Tracy from CIG, The Poets, whole bunch of folks. Paul Shelley, Serious Fun, Natronics, Grim from Star Jump. A whole bunch of folks are going to be there. We're going to have a really great time. We have over 30 wonderful giveaways that we're doing from CIG all the way up to, I won't say how much, but it's a lot. It's like over $6,000 worth of giveaways we're doing. It's going to be very, very cool. So it's going to be a great weekend, and you get to have a great weekend in Vegas on top of it. So listen, if you can make it happen, show up. If you can, those of you who are supporters, love to have some support from you. If you would like to support us, you can go to the website. You'll also see there's a place to donate to help us pull this event off, because pulling off events like this is no big deal. Area 15 is a very cool, geeky, space sci-fi place that you guys will have a blast at. So we're looking forward to that. Just a little over a month away. We're getting there, getting closer and closer to the event. So we're excited about that. Okay. Let's get ready to jump into it. We're going to start off our very first giveaway. This one is going to be for the Gray Cat MTC. Those of you all who saw that, we kicked off the show with that one. All you have to do is type in !ticket. I think it's !ticket. And you will be able to be in for the giveaway. That's all you got to do. So go ahead and start punching it in.
Only.
Which one is it?
Twitch only.
Oh, yes. It's only for Twitch only. I'm so sorry. Our YouTube people, I finally got the information from Paul Shelley 2 weeks ago on how to do it on YouTube. I got to get it switched over. YouTubers, you guys have been patient with us. I'm going to get you guys plugged in so you guys can participate in this as well. Then, since this is your first time with us, we're going to let you do the countdown when it's time for the countdown. But tell us if there's something about Star Citizen that really is the thing that really you really like. What's the thing that you've enjoyed so far?
I think overall, so like I really like the immersive part of it. I myself am a developer, so I love to see what other people develop. And like the fact that like I remember my first time flying to a planet that was dark. I got so scared because I was like, what is going on? Like I did not expect to be that immersed into it. But I really like it. Like when I'm fighting ships, I find myself like moving in my seat in real life, trying to like move out the way. So I think like little stuff like that, I think is really cool when that's what really keeps me coming back to the game for sure.
Okay.
Then we're gonna have to introduce you to the Star Citizen drinking game. Words like immersive, stuff like that. You don't know about this because you're new. We'll hook you up.
Definitely. All right, ! Ticket. We're going to close this out in about 10 seconds. Oh, I didn't see who that message came from. Did you see it, fastcart? It popped up so quickly and went away. I missed it. Shoot, I was looking at the countdown here. All right, we're going to close this out in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We are closed out on that giveaway. Then why don't you give us a countdown from a 3, 2, 1, and we're going to see who won this one.
3, 2, 1.
Boom. Super Khaki 008?
I have no idea.
Super Khaki, are you here? Are you here? Super Khaki 008. Give us a shout if you are here. Are you here?
Wow,
there.
nice.
Nice. There we go. Super
That's the
Khaki.
MTC, right?
That's for the MTC. Fastcart, tell Super Keki how they can reach out to us, please, while I get the next one set up.
If you'd like to receive this giveaway, send an email to Soul Citizens with S on the end, soulcitizens@gmail.com, and let us know your RSI email address and your RSI account name so we know who to send it to. So appreciate that. Congratulations.
Awesome. Okie dokie. Oh, by the way, subscribers, don't forget, you always get double the odds to win. Double the odds to win, always for our subscribers on Twitch. So, Super Kaki, once again, congratulations on that. We're going to set up our next one here, which is going to be for an Anvil C8 Pisces series Flight Blades kit. Yes, the Flight Blades, the thing that we all hate. We're going to give one of those away to you right now. All right. So once again, you want to sign up with !ticket. We know a lot of you all have C8 Pisces out there. So feel free to click in on this one, !ticket. Sin, I'm going to come back to you once again as our guest. What so far has been, if you had to say the ship that you enjoy the most, what's like the favorite ship that the one you're digging right now?
Ooh, so I would probably have to say my Sayulan. I love that alien ship. And surprisingly, I actually fly it quite well. That's the only
There
one I
you
can
go.
fly well.
There
Everything
you
else I
go.
crashed.
There you go. See that, y'all? See that, y'all? That goes to show you.
So how does that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's my favorite. I think it looks cool. I love the lights inside. I love the way it flies. And for some reason, yes, it is the only one that I can land properly. Everything else, I'm landing upside down on its side. I'm losing a wing.
Wow. See there?
I don't know, but that one, I don't know. It just likes me. It just calls to me.
Love it. You're gonna have to come check out the hangar. I've got all the alien ships. I actually have an account that's my alien account. It's just nothing but alien ships in it.
What? Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
I need
it's
to see that
love it. It's so cool. So cool. That's cool. And you got to check out the rest of the ships that manufacturer is going to make if you haven't seen them yet. You're gonna get hooked.
I've seen one that they're going to come out with, and
yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. Like, I want all the alien ships. I just hope that they're not like.
That's cool. That's cool.
I hope they're within my budget.
Well, you've made old Lefty. You've made old Lefty lose his mind now because he destroys all aliens. That's him. He's like destroy all monsters. He's on the destroy all monsters side of things. So, all right, we got about 10 seconds on this one before we're going to close it out. !ticket if you're looking to get the Anvil C8 Pisces series Flight Blades kit. All right, on the count here, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to close that one out. All right, Sin, go ahead and give us another countdown.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, Ultimatrix 8. Unimatrix, my bad eyesight. Unimatrix, are you here? Unimatrix 8, are you here? By the way, only one winner per show. So if you win twice, that means you got to get somebody else. Hey, Unimatrix is here. You are more than welcome. Unimatrix. Congratulations to you.
Okay, send mail to soulcitizens with an S on the end at gmail.com. And Lefty, thanks for the gifted sub.
Lefty.
Chin, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lefty. That's because he feels bad for us because we have another alien lover. That's why he did that. He's like, those poor people over there, let me throw some money at them, help them out a little bit. Thank you, Lefty, as always. We appreciate that. All righty. All right. And last but not least, our final. This is for all you military folks out there. Since this is Invictus, this is going to be for the Tumbril Nova weapon kit. The Tumbril Nova weapon kit. Some of you all know that the Tumbril Nova, the tank now, they added modularity to it, where now there's a different type of gun that goes on top of it. Missile launcher or something. I forget what it is now, but there's a new thing there, and it's the skin and all that other stuff. So those of you who are interested in that, it is live as of now, !ticket. All you Nova tank fans out there, you want to improve your tank abilities, go ahead and hit that !ticket, and we will get you guys in there. Yep, Asgard.
By the way, Griff, you do know we have Q&A questions, right?
Yes, we are going to do those as well, but I wanted to get these out of the way. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's do one of them right now. What do we got? I'll take the pressure off Sin. Go ahead.
Me?
No, I said I want to take the pressure off Sin asking you all those questions. So go ahead.
Yeah. So this is from Serious Fun. Question: Invictus is very much about military and defense platform. should making your way to the convention lead to a deeper benefit to your ship, particularly if you purchase it during Invictus? A better layer of armor, better military components, etc. So, like, so the question is, like, if you purchase something during Invictus, should you get a better ship or platform depending on what you purchase during? Because you purchase it during Invictus with your base and military.
Okay.
I'm saying no. I'm saying no.
Okay, Lord of the Drip, thank you so much for those 10 community subs as well. You guys are so generous.
Thank you.
Lefty, Lord of the Drip, you guys, thank you so much for the support. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
My answer is no, because the game already has a stigma of being pay to win. If you were to do that during the Invictus, there'd be even more pay to win. So that's why I'm against it.
So is he saying, okay, on his question, benefits to your ship if you purchase it during Invictus? Better armor, military components. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what he's saying. I would, I agree with fastcart in the sense of if you purchase it. Frog Nuts Zoo, thank you so much for that follow. Thank you. And Pagliamia, thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you so much. And Lefty, thank you for the resub as well. Thank you.
So I'm not saying the game is pay to win. I'm saying that it'll have the stigma of pay to win. That's what I meant. That's the difference.
Yeah, I think that anything that if you give people an edge, you know, what happens to the person who just happened to be not in the game that week? They're on vacation, you know, or they missed out. Or the new player who doesn't know the importance of Invictus and what it could do to benefit them. I think tying it into a purchase is tough. I know that you guys have heard me talk about the fact that I wish Invictus was more interactive. In other words, if you go to Invictus, I want some things to come out of it. Like they have all those tables for the Navy, right, that are there. I want you to go to that table to sign up so that when missions come about, like the Hunt the Polaris mission, you'll only see that if you went there to sign up for it, right? If you go do that, that's when you get the notification from the UEE. They're calling you in on duty and saying, hey, we need you to respond to this. I would love to see things like when we've had this issue in the past with Nine Tails and things like that, things show up like that have a part of that weekend. When I said this yesterday on Paul's show, when the fleet used to do its tour, I would have loved to have known that when the fleet was going from planet to planet, you could go out there and defend the fleet while it was moving to another planet. And if other people wanted to attack the fleet, you could be on the UEE side. I would love to see more interactive things like that, enhancements to ships and things like that, or special military components. I get what you're saying. I think that the problem is that if people missed Invictus Week, they missed out. And I know we could say, well, they should have been listening. But there are people who legitimately just may not have tuned in and just missed out on something like that. It's an interesting perk, you know, to get people to, I know what you're trying to do, incentivizing people in some way too, but tying it into purchases might be a bit difficult, I think. Okay. All right, we're over time on this giveaway. Let's go ahead and give this one out here. We're going to wrap that one up. Sin, why don't you go ahead and give us the countdown on this last giveaway here? Uh-oh.
With the loser, Sin?
Oh, she's muted. That's why.
I'm muted. Sorry. Oopsie.
Okay.
I'm a pro streamer over here.
No problem. Right. Give us the countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Attack cat. I know this was probably supposed to be attack cat, but it's at cat. Attack cat.
Yeah, right. At cat.
Attack cat, are you here? There. Ooh, all right.
I was just building suspense. That's all.
That's all it was. Yep. Just hyping it up. All right. Attack Cat, as Fastcart said, send us your information, your RSI handle to soulcitizens@gmail.com, and we will get these items out to you today. We'll get it for all of the winners today. We'll get them out to you all today. So you guys will be able to
email. The email is more important than the handle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Email. Thank you. Not the handle. Yes. Thank you, Fastcart. Absolutely correct. Okay. All righty. We are just 3 minutes away from our normal cutoff time, so we are done for the night. And let's talk about a
couple more questions.
Oh, we do? I missed it. I thought I saw some other stuff here. Go ahead. I saw the joke stuff. Go ahead. What do we got?
Okay. Yeah, we got 2 more questions. Pot in Space asks, are the blades linked to your LTI linked to your LTI on your ship, or the blades linked to your LTI on your ship. I'm not sure they remember that.
No.
The blades LTI. I think maybe that's what
our blade.
he meant.
Wait, I don't know. Is that what you're asking, Pops? So. Pops, let us know. Are you asking our blades LTI? If you pay for them, that means it's something that you own all the time, which means that you'll get them back when they're destroyed. But it's not tied to your ship. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Does your LTI on your ship cover them? And that there's a separate purchase. So as long as you spend cash for it, you get it back.
Happy to be here.
Okay. Now, if you buy them in game with UEC, like Danger Hobo said, it'll probably be an insurance thing at that point. Okay. All right.
Different levels of insurance will either cover or not cover the player.
Yep, but it'll be an insurance thing at that point. Okay. All right. He said thank you.
All right. So, one last question from Pot and Face. How did you feel about this year's Idris event? If you have done it, I have done it. The Idris event, I don't know what it was between the venue and the Idris. It was like really cold. I never expected to need a flight suit or armor to get in between those two areas. So that was kind of weird. Other than that, it was big. I got lost on it, but I did appreciate the little briefing room area. I thought could have used some people on it, but it felt empty to me. Like I said it before, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice.
How about you, Sen?
Yeah, Sen, go ahead. You tell us about the tour going on to the Idris.
Yeah, I really liked it. I did have someone, well, I had a couple people with me on it, so they were also able to like guide me through it. Because if I would have went on it by myself, yes, I would have been lost and I probably wouldn't have been able to get back out. But I really liked it, and I actually like found like a couple of groups of people that were actually touring it at the same time. So that was also really cool to see that like we would walk away, tour a different area, and then we'd see them like touring the same area that we just came from. So I think that aspect was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. Alrighty then, let's talk about what we've got coming up next week. Whoops, wrong one. Griff pushing the wrong button. Pushing the wrong button. Yeah, that was the wrong button. Yeah, I know. Cryus07, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Thank you. It's not a question, but I just wanted to thank you all for the content. Thank you, Scadby. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. And Frognuts, thank you also for the sub for 1 month. Thank you. Appreciate that. Next Sunday, I didn't get to do graphics. It was a rough week. Our show next week is called Fixing the Faux Pas, and you're wondering what that's going to be about. That is going to be us having a conversation, a very candid conversation about the times when we feel like, what are the things that CIG can do better? Now, we're not necessarily talking about the thing that happened this week with Invictus, but it is kind of a culmination of a lot of things that the community has been saying. People who are very supportive of the community, and they want to see CIG do well and do better, and of course do better by the community. And so next week we're going to be having just this conversation about what are those things out there that we think that, maybe they should have done it this way, or maybe if they had talked to somebody from the community, this wouldn't have happened, right? This isn't going to be like a tearing down of CIG, but it is going to be a very hard conversation about how things can be better both now and in the future, and maybe even some things that have happened in the past to give it some background. So that's going to be next week on next Sunday, June the 1st. We're going into June. Also coming in June will be Lore Lighthouse. We're going to be starting off a new series. We're going to be discussing the lore of Star Citizen. We're going to give you guys a date on that as we get closer and closer to it, but just know that it is coming. It is definitely coming. And last but not least, to our special guest today, SinfulStrife. Sinful, we really appreciate you being here. Tell people again about you, where they can find you, what times, days, and where on Twitch or YouTube they can find you.
Yeah, so I stream here on Twitch, twitch.tv/SinfulStrife. I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go until about 12 a.m. and I'm always open to play with people. So if you ever want to play with me, please, I beg of thee, because I need help.
Well, we're happy to have you with us once again, and we hope we can have you back as well. And
thank you so much for having me.
You made it. You did the 2 hours.
I'm still sweating, actually.
All right. Well, you did a great job.
You did well.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here. We are going to, it looks like I'm trying to see who we're going to go visit today. I think we're going to go visit our friend. You got somebody? Are you going to say something?
Yeah. I put it in the streaming.
Oh, okay, my thing is blocked. That's why I didn't see it. Who you got going? Oh, Papadopoulos is on. Is he on?
Yeah.
Is he live?
He was at the. Yeah, he was at the.
Okay. Is he live? Okay, I didn't see his name pop up. So if he's live, that's great because we try to catch him when he's live.
I'm refreshing now just to make sure because you got me.
If you see him on screen,
worried,
if you see him on screen, then he's live. That's the thing I want to make sure of, that he's on. Is he on screen? Yeah, he's not on screen. He's not on screen.
I don't see him.
Yeah, he's not on screen. Yeah, I don't want to chance that. We'll send him. We'll go over to Papadopoulos. Usually, I want somebody who's on screen though. He's not on screen. So let's go ahead and set up with Papadopoulos. We're going to set up our raid with him. When you guys get over there, let him know that you came over from the Soul Citizens. As always, if you like what you see, follow, like. Don't forget to follow and like Sin on her channel as well. And you guys enjoy the rest of the weekend. If those of you who celebrate Memorial Day, enjoy the holiday. Have a peaceful, restful week. And as always, we'll see you guys soon. Take care of yourselves. Peace, love, soul. Ciao.